Good evening, lamb chops. It is I, your favorite fluffy vampire, Bluma. Yeah. Alright, hold on. Let me load it. I kind of forgot to get that up and set up. Because they were so loud, bro. The Higurashi are like, kill the man, Keiichi, you know? Ohio, Ohio, Horisu, Muffin, Mango. Whoa. It feels like it's been about 7 years since I've streamed. I don't like it. And again, this weekend I'm doing shit. So again, no Elden Ring. I'm pissed. Ugh. But hopefully after this week, things are going to get a little more normal again. And we can go back to having some Saturday Elden Ring. Please, sir. I'm so thirsty for Blythe. Please, sir. Oh, yeah. And there's a bunch of stuff for October, too, that I'm like, fuck. I'm not going to be able to stream as much as I wanted. But, you know, it'll be okay. We can talk about that later, when it's closer to October. Priorities, though. Please schedule. I'm so thirsty. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Hey, first time chatter, your battle looks a lot like this, just blue. Ah! No! But thanks, yeah. She's really pretty. So. Goddamn. Goddamn. It has been that long. People are like, who are you? Huh? And I have to be like, no! Like, I was at, like, whatever subscribers, and then I checked it yesterday, and I had lost 3, and I'm like, no! Come back! I swear I'm still active! God damn it! But whatever, I guess, whatever. It's only 3, you know. Nice to have a newcomer. It sure is! Yeah! We love it here. Well, these people are no... Oy. Alright, yeah, what happened last time? Oh yeah, Keiichi had his Joker moment, and, he's like, you know, instead of trying to find a solution to the problem, I could just kill a man. So that's where we left off. Mion and the others, having to set up for a Watsunagashi festival or something, invited me along, but I refused. And of course I did. How could they be taking it so easy and setting up for a festival in this situation? Mion had a lot of nerve. Yeah, how dare she continues to live her fucking life, huh? First thing I did when I got back was take a shower. Not because I wanted to wash off sweat. It was because I wanted to be even calmer. Keiichi has that, chemically speaking, alcohol is a solution mentality right now. Just with murder, yeah. I already understood this, that killing that man would be so very easy. The really hard thing would be not getting arrested for it. So we would get our peaceful days back. As I thought about it, I realized it wasn't easy. Japan's police force has the highest arrest rate in the world. I would need to be deceitfully to pull off the perfect crime. And it wouldn't be a half-hearted attempt. Still, it wasn't 100%. Even the best police force in the world couldn't have a 100% arrest rate. I've read a lot of recent articles and trials with people brought up with false charges. They do a lot to determine whether they're really false with accusations, but figuring out who the real criminal was is usually out of the question. I mean, on the background complaint with your brother, I, cool. And that meant a perfect crime did exist. In fact, perfect crimes were sort of like works of art. They could even be respected and revered. You just had to look for in addition of mystery novels everywhere throughout history. They dealt with all sorts of difficult-to-solve incidents, involving secret rooms and alibis and stuff, but they all wanted to show one thing. They wanted to show the beauty of the perfect crime. There is something divine in a flawlessness of the word perfect. Yes, perfect crimes were skills of the gods. And in the sense, the serial freak death they were calling the curse of Yashiro-sama. I understood. They must have been the works of the gods. Each one appeared to have been resolved, but they couldn't stop it from happening every year. Yeah, skills belonging only to gods. Those are perfect crimes. And I would be sitting up on my own crime before Yashiro-sama's series of perfect crimes 4 years in the running. If I were to put it boldly, I was challenging a god. Full-heartedness would be needed to make the decision, but I needed to be calm, cool, colder than ice, and put a plan together. Kill him like a flame, but the semantic is ice. Starting now, I need to retain both of those ideas within me. Challenging or channeling? Oh, I thought it said challenging. Channeling, maybe? I can't read. Which is a real bold thing to do playing a visual novel. Modeling my crime after the mystery novel wasn't actually a bad thing to focus on. Sometimes, kidnappings involving disturbing original methods that made it to the newspaper were used as a basis for the novels after the person was arrested. Stuff like that made it into the news. No, a question for Cage. Yeah. Well, we got a badass. Day and night, for a very long time, mystery novel authors polished and refined their most fantastic artistic crimes. Imitating that could be the shortcut for planning the perfect crime in a short period of time. Of course, I haven't read enough mystery novels to act all high and mighty about them. The one who really liked mystery novels was my mom. She'd read every well-known mystery novel from overseas, from past to present. Every time she watched mystery shows, she would always criticize them for having cheap tricks or are poorly thought out. I wonder what the perfect crime would mean to her. What do I think the most well-done perfect crime in all the mystery novels I've read is? Yeah. Well, you read quite a lot of them, right? I figured you might know a lot about them. It's more fun to read them than to find out. If I told you all the tricks right off the bat, there'd be no fun. It wasn't like I was asking for my own amusement. She was deflecting the question, so I would somehow butter her up first, then draw out the answer. Of course, Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None is my top recommendation. Ooh, I actually really like that book, actually. And then The Murder on the Orient Express, I heard that one's really good too. Used some great bold tricks too, of course. I didn't see it coming at all. I didn't want to know which novels you liked. I wanted to know about the trick that made you most surprised. Well, if it really was a perfect trick, the detectives wouldn't be able to solve the case, though. That's true. Then there'd be no point. Mystery novels are enjoyable because of the process of the mysteries getting involved. If it was unsolvable, it wouldn't make a very good topic for a novel. I get it. Yeah, you're right. If the main character can't solve it, it wouldn't be much of a story, huh? Was I being too simplistic? A mystery novel was basically a game. They were written so that you could solve them. Dude really asked his mom, so how does one get a murder and get away with it? Hypothetically, of course. Yeah, no, exactly. You think the mom almost kind of knows? So that's why she's like, I don't know. What do you mean? But I couldn't use something so optimistic. It needed to be be-all, end-all of tricks, so that we could, without a doubt, return to our old lives. By the way, Keiichi, do you understand that truly perfect crimes don't even become stories? Mom looked at me intellectually and grinned impishly. I'd never gotten to read it, but apparently one time, a long time ago, Mom had written her own mystery novel and submitted it for some mystery novel award. Apparently, she was really into it. Don't even become stories? What does that mean? Keiichi, what are essential parts of a story? A beginning, a middle, and an end? Correct. The beginning, of course, is especially important. If there's no beginning, then the story never starts. Well, yeah. If nothing happened, nothing would begin. Right. Nothing happened. So there wouldn't even be an incident. Detectives wouldn't be called, so there wouldn't be any mystery. There would be no mystery, so there'd be no solution. In other words, it would be the ultimate perfect crime. Wait a second. Could you explain that again? My mom just told me something absurd. And she was saying it so smoothly, too, so I kind of tuned her out, but she said something extremely important just now. It's not really that difficult to understand. The incident just has to never come to light. That's all. Just has to never come to light. For example, how should I put this? Say there's an old man living deep in the forest and nobody ever goes into it. Uh-huh. And one day, the old man gets killed by an axe. Let's say the criminal was the old man's son. He went to the old man's house, and they were drinking, but they got into a fight and he killed him. What an extremely cheap plot. It was an impulsive crime, without a bit of planning. It was pretty far from a perfect crime. But Keiichi, the house was really, really deep in the forest. So deep in the mountains that nobody would ever go that far. Then his son would go back to town and say, the old man was doing fine. What about the perfect crime? Keiichi, the incident was only begin when it was found out the old man was killed. If nobody ever visits the old man's house after that, the beginning would never occur. The beginning would never occur. Again, Keiichi not being the sharpest bulb in the shed, exactly. Not the brightest crayon on the chandelier. So basically, the story wouldn't start. The incident would never come to light, and they wouldn't call in the detectives. And nobody would be suspicious in the first place, so there's no mystery. They'd think the old man was still living by himself deep in the woods. And the old man's face would appear in the sky. That would be it. Something like that, you know? That's amazing. That's a pretty great trick. But it wouldn't be a novel. Mystery novels are for the entertainment, after all. They can't be in instruction manuals for perfect crimes. That reminds me. What was it? There's we used to have it. I remember. It was when I was in school. It was called the, I don't know if it was the same book or if it was just I'm getting the titles mixed up. But there's a book in libraries in the schools that was called the Ann Artist Cookbook. They had it there for educational stuff because, something happened. Some kid had the book and whatever. But then I remember after the Columbine or something, after the big shooting, I think it was Columbine. They I remember even the principal and the superintendent or whatever, they all went into the library and looked around, took out that, and, once they found that book, they took it and they walked out. And I learned later why they did that, and I was holy shit. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, no. Because they had it in there because there was actual history with the book or whatever, but yeah, after Columbine, they're nah, more of that. No. I hear you say that book can get you hot water, some big beef. Oh, I just thought Bluma eating the crap. Bruh. I'm dumb, I'm not stupid. Duh. Or is it I'm stupid, I'm not dumb? I feel stupid is a smarter than a dumb. Anyway. I was trying hard to talk cheerfully to fool her, but inside I was excited. Special tools, strange geography, mysterious drugs, traps involving huge sums of cash, none of them were needed for perfect crimes. The important thing was that there wasn't a beginning. As long as the incident didn't come to light, it would be fine. Speaking broadly, if I could kill him without anyone finding out, and dispose of the corpse somewhere no one could find it, it would basically be already a perfect crime. People would get suspicious. Of course, in some people... Oh my god. Of course, if someone up and vanished one day, all of a sudden, people would get suspicious. But that didn't apply to this man. Last year, after the aunt died, he ran away from the village in fear of Oyashiro-sama. When the night of Watsunagashi came around again, everyone would be here to think that he ran away in fear again. I mean, he had been living with his lover in another town. No matter what it felt like he had vanished, no one would be suspicious. I'm not dumb, not stupid. Wait, what? Oh my god, I hate how my chat, does that. It, blocks half the message. Hold on. I'm ready to raise hands. It, blocks half the message with, did you want to use an emoji? You know what I mean? That heart at the bottom there. Blocks it with that. Because I just can't do it, bro. There we go. I'm not done. Stupid. My simp on Salem is the same. I like the red one. God damn it. Alright, where was I? Oh, yeah. People hated him after all. No one could care where he went if he disappeared. When I thought about it like that, it got easier and easier to imagine killing him. Hard agree. Just wanted to disable that emoji bit, right? It sometimes I just gotta guess what you guys are saying. Cause that heart perfectly blocks the last like 1 or 2 words for me sometimes. I'm like, God damn it. There was no point in thinking inside my house anymore. I left, getting my bike out of the garage. For now, it didn't matter where I was going. I just rode through the wind, trying to calm my excitement by feeling the cool air in my body. Where I'd kill him, how'd I do it, what time, and how would I dispose of the corpse. If I had just had 4 of those things, I could get a good plan going. I was so surprised at how little there was to decide that I shivered. I'd been completely prepared to build this humongous plan over a really long period of time, but if I could just get these little things in order, I could put it into motion. Today was Saturday. I would have to kill him on the night of Watanagashi. So long as I was standing in for Oyashiro-sama, I only had 24 hours remaining. Satoko, just hang on for 24 more hours. I can't even imagine having to suffer through even more, but please hold out just a little longer. I know you can't even last another second, I know, but please just hold out. Your Nini will save you for sure. Outside, it was still early enough for the cicadas to be crying. Early afternoon. Evening was still a long way off. I looked at the sky at some point. It had gotten cloudy. Come to think of it, as I left the house, I heard on the TV that the weather forecast was calling for a chance of rain on Sunday. The sky was the color of lead. If I had heard a little bit of thunder, I'd definitely have expected it a sudden evening shower. My first destination was school. Before explaining why I was there, I needed to explain the method for my killing the man I had decided on. I decided the most suitable death, the one I needed to give him, was the same as last year's curse, the same as the punishment their aunt had received, being beaten to death. Wouldn't beating him to death be somewhat unreliable? You may think that stabbing him with a blade would be more reliable, but this was something I'd chosen after a lot of thought. You just need to think realistically. The law, it prohibited carrying any blades longer than 10 centimeters, I think. So the blades available to me, though long enough, were limited to things shorter than a ruler. You can probably understand how tricky it would be with such a short reach to go up against an opponent that might fight back. Brokechi, I'm not too certain you could get away with it. In that case, using a weapon with a reach would be far more effective. It might not even have the same precision, but you just have to hit the guy until you've killed him. Both options resulted in death. With that settled, what is the weapon with the most terrifying force behind it that's also pretty easy to carry around? By this point, you should immediately think of it. A metal baseball bat. I don't need to explain how terrifying a metal baseball bat could be as a weapon. Of special note is the fact that you can carry one around in broad daylight and not be thought of as suspicious. Just those 2 points would have been enough to choose the metal bat for my weapon. But there was one more reason for choosing that metal bat in particular, and I'll speak about it later. After school that Saturday, my classmates were still having fun playing in the schoolyard. I could show up there and it would be the same as always, so nobody will think I'm suspicious. Getting my hands on the weapon without looking suspicious is actually a factor I couldn't ignore. I don't normally play baseball, so I went into the sports store looking for a metal bat. It would definitely be suspicious. I can't let there be a beginning to the story, so I needed to be really careful even about that. Then I left school. At a location at which my appearance wouldn't be suspicious, I would acquire the weapon. This is a special tool we'll save for later. I checked inside the classroom through the window, but of course there was nobody there. The only students who could stay in there were me and the others, and doing club activities. Without us, the classroom after school was just an empty, unused room. Without glancing around nervously, as if I'd just gone there to get something I'd forgotten, I casually went to the entrance. It looked like the teacher was busy with paperwork in the teacher's lounge. I didn't see her in the hallway. Naturally, yet quickly as a shadow, I entered the classroom. Mickey Mouse line. The empty room was full of strange, stagnant air that you couldn't feel normally. An empty classroom, with nobody here. Maybe, while no one was around, the desks creep out of their own accord, licking the floors clean of dirt. If I suddenly stepped into a place like that, would the desks, in their surprise, fly at me, crush my bones, and eat me alive? That's ridiculous. I felt regret at wasting valuable thinking time on stupid delusions. The students' lockers were lined up in the back of the classroom. The one I was looking for wasn't my own. It was a forbidden locker. One I had accidentally discovered one day. Here it is. Hojo. This has to be it. If one person has one locker, then why would only Satoko have two? I'd made a fuss about it once. After that I learned it was Satoshi's locker, and I had the last name as her. But of course, even though it was a locker for a student no longer here, looking inside it was still a shameless act. But one time, I let my curiosity get the better of me and took a peek inside. Inside was the average and worthless at the time. I hadn't been interested, so until now I'd forgotten what had been in it. But now that I had, dare I say, awakened, I remembered the thing that had been there before. I opened the locker, and the stench of mold and sweat wafted out, like a gym storehouse that hadn't been cleaned in weeks. My face puckered at the stench, but I looked for it. Yes. Satoshi was on Coach's baseball team. Inside the locker was a Hinamizawa fighter's uniform, and it. The one Satoshi used. The metal bat. Yes. This was the reason I wanted to choose this bat. This murder would be carried out by me, but this wasn't originally my role. It was Satoshi's. But I would stand in for him, call myself Satoko's Nini. It was one of the rules for standing in for him. I reached for the metal bat and grasped it firmly. It was light, and yet its tip had enough heft to it, enough to easily imagine the horror if I had brought it down with all my might. Satoshi, I'll give you one last chance to save your sister. Lend me your strength. You're a coward, but I'll stand in for you. So if you still care even a little bit about her, you will lend me your strength. There's no more suitable weapon in the world for putting that man to death than your bat. Now, I just needed to figure out where to hide it. Tomorrow before the act, I would just stop by the school and grab it, because I couldn't ignore the possibility someone would see me bringing it home and think it was strange. But if I left it here, there wouldn't be a problem. Plus, tomorrow was Sunday. Not only that, it was the day of the biggest festival in the whole village. Nobody would be coming to the school. I left out the entrance and went over the construction vehicle parked nearby. We'd been warned that our teacher not to touch it just for laughs, so none of the kids would come near the vehicle either. Oh boy, Keiichi's Joker, he's being symbolic and shit. Yeah. They wouldn't, because she found out they touched it, they'd be in huge trouble. I quietly hid it in the shadow of the vehicle. The chances of someone operating the vehicle tomorrow were slim to none, because tomorrow was Sunday. Government workers had the day off. And, from what my classmates had said, the thing that had been left here for years, machines that hadn't moved in years, you can't just suddenly start them up again. So it was almost definitely fine in that case. The sunlight was piercingly hot. My head grew faint for a moment. Had the heat been this harsh for the entire day? A moment of dulled thoughts like this was a moment of carelessness. I gave myself a couple hits on the head, and looked around warily. Okay. Next, how to dispose of the corpse. You wanna see a magic trick? Good. Watch me make this deadbeat dad disappear. Ooh. Disposing of the corpse. The ultimate way of not create a beginning was to not let the corpse be found. It was even more important than killing him. Thinking on it vaguely, the first thing that came to mind was the swamp. Onikafuchi. The dreadful, bottomless swamp, revered even now, that appeared in the legends of the Onikafuchi village. Yes, the swamp was called Onikafuchi was here first, and then the village took its name and became Onikafuchi Village. In other words, this swamp was the origin of Onikafuchi Village. No one, no matter who it was, would float back to the surface of this bottomless swamp, Everyone would be swallowed down into the land of the demons below the earth. That was how the stories went. If I was trying to copy Oyashiro-sama's curse, then I felt the theory demanded I discard the remains and the weapon into the swamp. But they may have said it's bottomless, but I didn't actually know. And people say large creatures like humans produce a lot of gas when they get rotting, granting a lot of buoyancy. It was why using fairly heavy objects to hold them down didn't work. Come to think of it. But the curse the year before last, Rika-chan's mother drowned herself in the swamp. And the criminal behind the dismemberment that went missing the year in the first curse too. It was rumored he tried to discard the body in the swamp and accidentally drowned in it. Never heard of a corpse coming back up or them finding it. Then, shouldn't I choose to discard the corpse there too? I could discard the weapon there. And then, for example, if her uncle came out on a motorcycle and attacked, it would be convenient to get rid of the bike too. I knew that Satoko's uncle generally used a motorcycle for transportation. But as for the corpse... After a lot of worrying, I decided not to discard the corpse in the swamp. The drowning-suicide accident were both rumors. Nobody knew if they'd actually happened. There were no lack of false rumors about the drowning-suicide anyway, and it was possible that the murderer hadn't drowned there and was still on the run. That meant no one had ever confirmed a corpse being dropped here and then not coming back up. Then what would I do with the body? I thought it might be interesting to go to the first incident, cut him into pieces and hide him. But the preparation work for dismembering a human body would be difficult, given the amount of time I had. With that out of the question, I arrived at the conclusion to go with a more orthodox method of burying the body. Then where would I bury it? It was a question that related to where I would kill him. Of course I wanted to keep my time and proximity to the bottom at minimum. With that in mind, I would want to dig a hole in the dump, the body beforehand, and make the location the act of the hole even close together. The choice of where to plan the crime, that I needed to absolutely be careful and thorough with. It had to be somewhere nobody would witness it, and a place where finding places for a sneak attack. I could dig a hole for the body right here. I could go over the possibilities in my head of the various destinations her uncle would head to and from Satoko's house. I imagined a map of the area in my head, and I found a place that filled those conditions. It was so easily, it was almost unbelievable. A bit of a back road that went through the woods. I didn't think her uncle would go deeper into the mountains of the Yogochi on a whim. If he was going somewhere, he'd pass through these woods first. And nobody used this back way unless they had to do something to do at Satoko's house or one or two other places. This path was fantastically ideal, as few people used it. I would wait for him in these woods. Would an ambush actually be possible? I went into the trees and tried really hiding myself in a few places. It was extremely quiet. My senses could be sharpened mere to a maximum amount. I didn't know where he'd come, but I'd wait right here for Satoko's uncle. I actually had some trouble coming to that decision. The questions arose as to whether I should somehow call the man out. Was there a risk in being taken on when luring him here? That man made Satoko do all the shopping and errands. He seldom left his own business. He wouldn't leave unless I worked out a plan to force him to be Woody. That was the question. Tomorrow was the Watsunagashi festival. Would he go out to the festival or would he just stay inside? If he stayed inside, how would I drag him out of his house? Is he about to pull a magic trick? That's right. Wouldn't he make Satoko go to the festival? Satoko would go to the festival. Meanwhile, I would call the man. This was the Okonomiya police station. We have the young lady from your house. Could you come pick her up immediately? It didn't even have to be the police. This was a clinic. The young lady from your house has been injured. Please come and pick her up. Yeah, that would work too. If I claimed to be the police or a hospital and told him to come, he would hang up. He'd rush there without trying to figure out what was going on, wouldn't he? And just the other day, he was visited by a probation officer. He wouldn't suddenly grumble about having to get his niece to not go to... He would look like child neglect. Oh, man. The man had no skills useful around the house. Satoko, his slave, was an essential part of his daily life. Conclusion. If he went out to the festival, I would attack him here and on his way back. If he didn't, I would lure him out by phone. If luring him out by phone was my first step, I needed to be sure Satoko would go to the festival, leaving the house. It would be convenient if I could make Mion take Satoko to the festival. She said her aunt was a district welfare officer. In other words, an ally to the probation officer. If I somehow incited Mion to take Satoko to the festival with her, well, being who she was, she'd use the fact to get her there. Satoko should just take a break and have fun at the festival with everyone. She should have a good time, reminisce on our former peaceful days, and when she went home, everything would be over. Yeah, that would be the best outcome. With that decided, I needed to dig a hole somewhere in the woods and hide the body. So it wouldn't stand out, so it wouldn't be found. Someplace nobody would see me while I was completely exposed as burying the corpse. I'd wanted to be close to the scene of the crime, but it naturally grew further away. Deep in the bosom of the Black Forest, the voices of the Higurashi were the only sounds here, informing me that people shouldn't indiscreetly set foot in this place. Digging a hole, huh? Digging a hole with so many tree roots crawling around the ground would be far more difficult than I envisioned. I snuck a gardening spade here in my bag, but it wouldn't be enough. Still, as I looked at the various approaches, I managed to find a place I could dig into. Tomorrow, I'd bring a real shovel from the storeroom at my house. I'd manage that. I wondered how big a hole it would have to be to fit a human all the way in. I'd probably have to dig pretty deep. But if I was slipshod these efforts, I'd let a beginning occur. I absolutely couldn't allow that. Use any amount of time you need. I mustn't spare any effort to utterly erase him. I glanced at my wristwatch. It was a little past 6. This was probably all I was going to get done here for today. I really wanted to dig the hole in advance tonight, even if it got dark out, but Mom would be upset if I stayed out so late. It wouldn't be good to come off as suspicious to my parents. I needed to go back home and give Mion a call soon. I needed to get her to promise Satoko to take her by tonight. After that, today would be done. Done. Would it be, though? Was this really everything I could do to prepare right now? I decided where to kill him. I decided how to kill him. I decided, of course, how to dispose of the body. I didn't decide on a time, but I would play that by ear. I didn't have a way to decide that. Was that really all? Was this really all right? Have I overlooked anything? Would this really go how I planned? After all this, worries started welling up one after the other. It was only natural I'd be anxious. This would be the first and last job of my lifetime. I could not allow failure. And I had no experience, as this was my first time. I didn't have the know-how, the knack, so it was only natural I'd be anxious. The dark clouds of unease told me doing nothing would be the easiest way. A truly pathetic suggestion this late in the game. Have you forgotten how miserable Satoko looked? From the outside, it may have looked like I was resolute, but deep in my heart, my knees were shaking loudly. I never actually won a single fight to my satisfaction. Could I really kill someone? I may have been planning an ambush, but my enemy was large and far older than me. He had a scary face and looked like he was well accustomed to fighting. Could I have? All the pieces before and after the murder were perfectly planned. But this was the actual murder. The most important part, what unsettled me the most. This is my first time. I didn't realize Keiichi was planning on killing again down the line. Oh, brother. All my preparations, all of my perfectly concealed mechanisms. If I didn't successfully murder him, they amounted to nothing. Damn it! After coming this far, you're pathetic, Keiichi Maibara. If you start to have these kinds of second thoughts, your ulterior motives would be obvious. Let's go home. Go home and calm your mind. Tomorrow will be the juncture in your life, the likes of which graduation, employment, marriage, and childbirth couldn't hold a candle to. A day of murder. To kill someone. For someone else's sake. With that day behind us, we would take it back again. Those mild, spring-like days we never thought would stop. Those safe, peaceful, fun times. I pedaled my bicycle hard to get back home. I felt somehow unsteady, like my body and soul weren't in alignment. A subtle shift between where the tips of my hands and feet really were and where I felt them to be. My vision was a little distant and narrow, as if a great barrier I risked my life futures on had nothing to do with me. An unreal sensation. How could I put it? Everything was so far away. Fine. Feel your unease, premeditate you, Keiichi Maebara. If that will turn your timidity into meticulousness and allow you to act with greater caution, then it's actually an important emotion to feel. Tomorrow. Not today. Tomorrow. Probably. Yeah. This feeling I had never went away that night. It was the first time I'd been calling Mion's house. I searched for her in the phone book the school gave me, and then dialed a short phone number. They're kind of unique to remote places. It was around dinner time. She would probably be home. But just as I started to think where nobody would respond, someone finally picked up the receiver. Hello? This is Onozaki. Oh, sorry for calling you so late. Is this Mion? Huh? May I ask who's calling? It's me, Keiichi. Oh, okay, Kei-chan! It's pretty late, what's up? She seemed to be in a weirdly good mood, and she drew her syllables out. Right, it's the night before tomorrow's festival, so she's probably with her family having some drinks. Sorry for the late call. Do you have time right now? Sure, what is it? It's about Satoko. I heard her draw in a small breath on the other end. Satoko. She's in a pretty bad spot. I hope she's okay. The scent of sake had completely disappeared from her voice. She can't be okay. You saw too, didn't you? What she was like? She's completely worn out from all the abuse. We failed her all this time, and now she's become like that. We didn't fail her. Everyone tried their hardest to help her. But we didn't come up with anything, and we couldn't save her. In the end, we couldn't do anything about it, and now she's become like that. I guess you're right. All I did was watch after all. So, well, at least... Couldn't we at least let her have fun for one night? Huh? Let her have fun. She's been so battered lately, you understand? That's why I want you to take her to the Watanagashi festival tomorrow. I don't mind, but why? Why? I want to give her a breather for at least the festival night, you know? Even if it's just one night, if she can get away from her evil uncle, then I think she'll be happy. Even if it's just a little while. Yeah, but why? Why? Why what? I was having a little difficulty understanding what Mion was asking me. Why? Well... I mean, why don't you bring her, Kei-chan? Why do you need me to ask you to do it? Mion was persistent about the odd things. No, maybe it'd be better to say that she was sharp. I actually have something to do tomorrow. I can't make it to the festival, so I wanted you to take Satoko there for me. Something to do? It's nothing major. We finish up quickly, but I might not be able to meet up with y'all tomorrow. Hey, Mion? Could I leave Satoko to you just for tomorrow night? Mion took a long time to give her a reply. I got the feeling that Mion had been acting weird for a little while now. Like she was flustered by emotions or something. No. Huh? Was that a sob? Mion? Are you crying? I said no. I don't want to. I don't want you to push this onto someone like me. I'm not trying to push anything on you. It's just for tomorrow night. That was a lie. What? Mion, what was she talking about? Saying it's just for the night to Watanagashi, and then it was forever. Liar. guess we're even, huh? I couldn't keep that promise I had made with you. I left her alone. All alone all this time. I had no idea what to say to that. Mion was clearly now talking to someone other than me. I didn't know who. All I could do was listen to her in a daze. You never came back after that, and you never called me again to push her onto me. You're so unfair. Hey, you're Satoshi-kun, aren't you? Mion, what are you talking about? When I said her name, whatever spell was on Mion head was released. I'm sorry. It's nothing. It's just that I got a phone call like the one you're making right now, a long time ago. Was it from Satoshi? Mion didn't answer. All I could hear was the sobs coming through the receiver. Sorry. I think I'm still a little tipsy. I got all weirdly emotional. Sorry, I probably scared you. I had no idea how it happened, but I was pretty sure that last year on this very day, Satoshi had called Mion and told her to bring Satoko to the festival. And when she asked why he needed her to do it, he replied the same way I did. Satoshi, he didn't go to the festival, did he? Yeah. He said he had something to do and couldn't make it. He told me to take Satoko there in his place. At that time, Satoshi said it too, didn't he? That he'd leave Satoko to you? Yeah, he did. Just for tomorrow night. The way you said it was just like how he did. Golly gee, this sounds familiar. I just got a little upset, caught up in the memory and all. I didn't expect this. Satoshi had given her the exact same phone call 1 year ago today. Young kept going after that. That he was lying. That he told her it would only be for one night at the festival. I get it. A few days later, Satoshi, he disappeared. Disappeared might have been a rather vague way to put it. Whether he ran away or not, Satoshi left, abandoning Satoko. Yeah. He didn't transfer or run away from home, he disappeared. And then, an idea far more indistinct than even fog crossed my mind. Satoshi made exactly the same phone call as me last year? Why would Satoshi have to make the same phone call? If, in the truest sense, he really made the exact same phone call as I am right now. The incident where his aunt was beaten to death, could it... Was Satoshi... Huh? What was that? Last year. Satoko had been constantly abused by her uncle's wife, their aunt too. Her aunt abused her the most, and on that night is the name of the Oyashiro-sama's curse. She was taken from this world. If I thought about that, everything made perfect sense, didn't it? Last year, Satoko's aunt was beaten to death, wasn't she? Would it be impossible for Satoshi to have... No, but that would mean... But then Satoshi... He was a coward who abandoned Satoko and ran away, wasn't he? How could Satoshi resolve himself to kill a person to save Satoko? It was unthinkable. I actually considered that as well, though it would be mean to Satoshi. A few days later, he disappeared, on Satoko's birthday. When I first heard it, I flew into a rage. What a cruel day to have to run away. But now that I thought about it like this, the story has changed completely. Satoshi had probably been even less calm than I was now. He was her big brother, related by blood, watching his little sister be abused day in and day out. Maybe that's why he couldn't keep a calm mind. Pot calling the kettle black would be a vast understatement, right? And that was why the corpse of their aunt, beaten to death, was so easily discovered. Satoshi lost himself in his anger, and he hadn't hidden the corpse. He permitted a beginning to occur. If the police conducted a full-blown investigation, it was easy to imagine they wouldn't take long to pin down Satoshi to the culprit. And the Joker arc coming to an end. Damn Satoshi and his feeling. Yup. Satoshi. He wished for a return to the peaceful days with Satoko, and though he achieved it for a time, he had been steadily driven into a corner. And then he wanted to at least hold out until Satoko's birthday, but finally they nailed him. At that time, Satoshi had been carrying the savings he had amassed to buy Satoko a giant stuffed animal for a birthday present. He would buy the stuffed animal for her as a gift and then get caught. Or he would use the money and disappear. That was the choice that he had been forced to make. And he decided not to make Satoko the sister of a murderer. If that was the case, then it must have been an unspeakably bitter decision. All that money he'd saved wanting to see Satoko happy, he had to use it to make her sad. And he used the savings and disappeared to Tokyo if the rumors are true. Was that how Satoshi disappeared? I don't know. That Oshi guy seems to think that way though. Oshi. Had he been slowly driving into a corner by that repulsive man, pig-headed pursuit? The circumstantial evidence is all there, but I think your deduction is wrong. They caught some crazy drug addict somewhere in the prefecture, and he apparently turned himself in for the crime. That was right. The deviant that had confessed, and the incident was solved. They said he really was just a crazy person, and that he had no ties to Hinamizawa. And no relationship with Satoshi, of course. I mean, I have a pretty hard time believing the guy would lie in a Satoshi's place. You couldn't just apparently decide that. You never know where or how many humans are tied together. If the guy took the blame, then it was the perfect crime. Of course, it was a really perfect crime. There would have been no reason for Satoshi to vanish. Plus, I don't think Satoshi had that kind of money to run away. That day he withdrew all of his savings. No matter who I tell this to, nobody believes me, but that stuffed animal he said he was buying for Satoko, it was gone from the display. Sold. It must have been Satoshi. Wait a minute. If he didn't use the money to flee and bought a stuffed animal instead, he would have gone back to Satoko, wouldn't he? It seems unbelievable that he'd buy it and then disappear without having given it to her. Yeah. So, now I don't know what happened. It would be one thing if he had the money, but if he used all of his savings on it, he'd totally be broke. You can't live on life on the run without money in this world. I didn't get it. After all that, I was understanding Satoshi less and less. The two of us fell silent. I couldn't remember how we even gotten on the topic. Sorry, I think we got off topic. Satoko, right? Yeah, don't worry. I actually already invited her. Huh? You serious? When everyone went to the shrine to prepare for the festival, we started talking about getting Satoko to the festival, so then I used the phone at the assembly hall to invite her. Her uncle was acting distant, didn't seem to care, but in any case, we got the okay from him. We decided to all meet up to go together tomorrow. You okay with that? Satoshi? Stupid, I'm not Satoshi. I was a little relieved. I hadn't needed to make the call. Satoko was already being invited to the festival. And not in the way it smelled of blood, a way to leave her uncle alone and create time for me to kill him. They purely wanted Satoko to enjoy herself, and so they invited her. In the end, it was the same, but I was happy for the slight difference. Sorry. Guess I didn't need to call you then. First yesterday, now today. Sorry for, saying such weird things. Just forget it. No, I'm the one that should apologize. Losing it like that wasn't me. I'm really sorry. We apologized to each other for a little bit. Alright, I'll be going now. Good night. What did you have to do? As if interrupting our parting words, Mio struck straight where it hurt. Or is it like with Satoshi, where you can't say? Stupid. I keep telling you I'm not Satoshi. Yeah, I know that. I deflected her, with a response that wasn't really an answer. Mion didn't hound me or anything like that after. Alright. This time for real. Good night. I don't know why you're giving me the same phone call Satoshi-kun did, but... yeah, never mind. Sorry. Good night. I'm hanging up. Click. Satoshi Hojo. Just who are you? I scorned you as a coward who ran away, abandoning his sister. I always thought you didn't have the right to call yourself her Nini. But now I didn't know what to think. Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 4th year, their aunt's death and Satoshi's disappearance, and now, me, trying to carry out Oyashiro-sama's curse on the 5th. Oddly enough, what I was going to do overlapped perfectly with Satoshi, the day before the curse. No, that wasn't all. If we start back from Satoko being abused, then I've been overlapping with Satoshi for days already. When I talked to Mion before, she asked me if I was Satoshi. If that was the first impression of a third party like Mion got, then it was probably true. Then, as Satoshi had accomplished, I would succeed in the murder. But that was the extent of which it overlapped. I was far calmer than Satoshi and more calculating. I could actually grow calmer, the more enthusiastic I became. That's why I won't follow in Satoshi's footsteps. I would snip him clearly out of the world, and then get our peaceful life back. Maybe Satoshi has been with me ever since I chose to use his bat as a weapon. No, maybe even longer than that. When I decided I'd be her Nini, maybe Satoshi had been residing within me then, too. Satoshi, were you really a coward? Or are you a true Nini even now, the kind worthy of Satoko's love? I'd never met him, never spoken to him, didn't even know his face, and yet I felt so connected to him. I'd never felt that way before. It's always so peaceful seeing like his house at the nighttime. Yo! We made it to the end! Oh. The achievement for that chapter was called Possessed. I mean, you made your choice and you didn't look back. Emotional damage chapter! Sad Pachi. Yeah, just kind of a... yeah. But yeah, I think we're all seeing why this one's my favorite. Lots of sad emotional damage. Also, Shion and Satoshi and Satoko are my favorite characters, so you know. I'm really happy there's so much Satoshi talk, at least. Now I feel like it's okay to say that. I know when we first started, everyone's like, yeah, I like this and this character. I'm like, yeah, I really like Satoko. And my other favorites we really haven't met that much, so, you know. We all see that this is my favorite. Yay, trauma! Yay! Dude, even this piano is kind of hard to, like, have a conversation over because it's just so, like, intense. Yay, depression! Yay, depression! Yay! So, what's y'all's predictions? I feel like it's okay to ask that. What was... because that was chapter, what, 9? Right? Was this chapter 9? I think it was. Yeah, chapter 9. So what you guys' predictions? Because, I mean, we only got... let's see, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 6 chapters left? We got 6 chapters to go. I think Mion knows up, but it may be foggy for her because she's getting drunk. True. No Joker arc? Well, I mean... I guess, is that your prediction? He's not gonna kill nobody? He's gonna get cold feet? Could happen. Anything can happen. We got 6. It's true. It's true. This could go either way. Oh, you think Satoshi is definitely dead, though? Okay. Okay. Solid. Solid. It's not a bad prediction. It took all of a single chapter for him to go full Joker mode, and he's got time to rebound back into it. It's true. And to be fair, it's not like he's like, at the end there, it wasn't like him saying, oh my god, I shouldn't do this. It was him saying, I've learned from Satoshi's mistakes, and I'm gonna kill this guy, and then not get caught. Better be. Animator's like, I just want blood. I don't care whose it is or how we get it. I just want somebody dead. And you know what? Valid. Very valid. Oh, yes, I'm so excited. This one's so good. I love the fucking mind twists at the end of this one. Oh. I'm not rooting for no bitch. A real one. Antimatter being a real one. Oh my god. Alright. Let's see. What's on the docket for anything else? Any other announcements I gotta make? Let's see. Tomorrow we're doing something, aren't we? Yeah! Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, an art stream, probably. We're going full gremlin preparation for the ending. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good one. I really like this arc. I've said it, I keep saying it, man. It's one of my favorites. It might be my favorite arc, I think. Yeah, so tomorrow we're gonna have an art stream, probably. I did, you know what? Because I was talking about that thing in the settings where it said automatic. Once I switched that to Windows 10 for that too, it started capturing Photoshop, so if it continues to work that well, then, you know, we'll have a bit of an art stream. I'm thinking I'm going to work on Vampire Checkmate stuff. And if it doesn't work, we'll have a Zatsudan. Those are fun. Be curious what the other arcs are going to be like, if they will rival this one. Hold on. I don't even remember what the next arc is called. Jotomate. I'm going to actually go look. See if I can't remember what the next one's about. What is the next book? Oh. The next one is called Hima Subushi. I mean, you guys are smart lamb chops. So let's think about it. Book 1. I forget what it's called, but book 1 had to focus on Reina, you know? Book 2 had to focus on Mion and Shion, right? Right? I feel like we can lump them together. They're twins. A lot of the book was about them being twins. This is book 3 about Satoko. Who are we missing? Because that is what the next book will be about. Waiting on that Rika arc. Yeah, that Pachi. Yeah, the next one's a Rika arc. And I'll be real, until I start reading it, like just right now, I don't remember what all happens in the Rika question arc. I remember, dare I say, I remember something very bloody. I won't get into specifics, but that's literally all I can remember from the Rika arc, is there's a really bloody part, and at the ending, there's a lot of death. Like, these ones have been sad, is that like, oh, our friends are dead, I'm dead, that kind of shit. But if I'm remembering right, the ending in the Rika arc is like really fucky, and there's a lot of, like, more death than all the books we've read so far combined. Like, there's that much death in the Rika arc. If I'm remembering right. I could be wrong. But we'll get there when we get there. After all, we still got 6 chapters of this book. Hell yeah. Murder. Yeah. Oh boy, streaming 2 days in a row. Yeah, you better get on that. Turn on that bell too, all that good shit. We're actually streaming 3 days in a row this week. We're gonna stream, we stream tonight, We're going to do tomorrow, and then movie night on Wednesday. Again, because I'm not able to stream Friday or Saturday again. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I feel horrible. Like, I really want to stream, but I just have stuff going on, and it sucks. Oh. Yeah, we even have a Discord, yeah. You wonder if that's the one you saw clips from then? Please forget. Take care of yourself. I'm trying. And if that's... Oh, man. I don't want to spoil it. Poor Wafit. Like, I haven't seen him in here forever, but I do know, like, there was one time, like, he was... I forget if it's, like, Higurashi or something else. He, like, quick popped in for, and he's like, by the way, I also got majorly spoiled on one of the endings of Higurashi, and I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry. He's like, yeah, I guess that's why you said not to, like, look it up on YouTube. I'm like, yeah. Because if you type in Higurashi on YouTube, I'm 99% sure the thumbnail on the first video is a spoiler for something in the Rika arc. I'm pretty sure. Or it... Oh, wait, no, it's a... Hold on, I'm actually gonna do it, because I know exactly what thumbnail I'm thinking about. And if it is, it's a spoiler for the answer arc of the Mion and Shion stuff. If I just type in Higurashi. Yep. The very first thing that pops up is a spoiler for something in the answer arcs. The next thumbnail is a spoiler for Go, which is the newest arc that they just did, like, last year. And then there's a bunch of spoilers for the Mion and Shion answer arc. Oh my god, yeah, just all for that. Oh my god. Do not YouTube Higurashi. Oh god. I remember someone get... Okay. Well, Muffin, that is in the answer arcs, if that helps you. It's in the answer arcs, and yes, that is something that happens, I want to say, during the Mion and Shion answer arc. But yes, that does happen. Said, yeah, it was popular like 15 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, I think we were talking about that last time too. It's like, Higurashi is huge, or at least it was huge in Japan. Like, it has stage plays, it has musicals, it has these visual novels, it has games, it has anime adaptations, it has movies. It was big. It's big. But yeah, don't YouTube Higurashi. All those thumbnails, like, every single one is a spoiler for something that we haven't read yet. I wouldn't be as upset, but it's literally all the stuff we haven't even touched yet. It still doesn't answer. I know, but, like, just knowing, like, having the vibe of how so-and-so will die, to me, it would be a spoiler and I would be upset by it, I guess. But you know what? You all live your best lives. That is true. If y'all don't think that, you know, but anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up there because I'm losing the ability to talk. We have finished the chapter. It was a bit of a shorter one. I would do more, but god damn it. Anyway, true. It doesn't bother you because you don't have context. So that's good. I'm happy for you. That is good. To me though, when I saw, if I would have seen a spoiler like that, I would be upset because it's like, well, now I know at some point that happens to so-and-so, and now I'm going to be on guard for it the whole time. Whereas if I hadn't known, it would have been that much more of a surprise for me. Like, I like going in blind, I guess, but that's just me. Anyway, thanks for coming and hanging out for Higurashi. I'm glad we're all getting very sad about Satoko's trauma. It's great. We love it. All right. Like I said, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to be doing an art stream, probably. If Photoshop doesn't cooperate, we will just, you know, pivot into a Zatsudan and just hang out while I maybe work or something. We'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed though, Photoshop remains working. It was working when I tested it yesterday with the new thingamabob, so it should be okay. And then Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we are having movie night. Oh shit, dropped my keyboard. We're having movie night. We're going to be watching City of the Dead, which came out in 1960. I don't know anything about it yet. I'm going to do my research to have some fun facts ready for you guys. Hopefully tomorrow at some point I'll get that ready. And so yeah, I basically picked it because I really liked the thumbnail, which is what I used for my thumbnail. Getting too excited for movie night. Yeah, it's true. Keyboard jumped up. It was so thrilled about it. But yeah, so I hope I see you guys in the next one. If I don't see you there, I'll see you when I see you. You have a good night and good evening and goodbye, lamb chops. Bye-bye.